Welcome back to Freightways Now in the beginning of the second hour with a carrier update presented by Uptake. Donny, looking at a similar map just on the dry van side of the left.
And this is a very telling map. We'll start on the West Coast here. Like I say, I swapped them up and I put the head haul index for dry van as the first indicator. So that's going to be our reds and blues because it's positive and negative. And then I used our capacity trend, which is 0 to 100. So it makes sense. So we're looking at the blue with a lot of depth. Those are going what we show as the best markets are going to be a little bit overbooked, and the carrier is going to have the upper hand in negotiating strength. So look at LAX, you see a big island sticking up there, very dark blue. You probably get some pretty good rates out of LAX. But look at Phoenix there, right down the road from it. It's red, and it's not going to be that great of a market. It looks different on some other maps, but this one, it really is a telltale sign. Denver, again, sticking up. And we talked about that. You know, here you got a fairly good head haul. It's overbooked with the head haul index, and it's got some depth there for a higher capacity score. Dallas, Texas look good. Memphis, Columbus, we'll look at those two here in a little bit, but you look down here at Florida, and that's the story of Florida pretty much 9 months out of the year. Stay away from stay away from Florida. You see some of these produce markets in here, and port markets as well. Savannah, Jacksonville, they look pretty good. So these are some ideas that may throw out that either accept more loads into these markets and then be able to get some decent spot freight coming out.
I was going to say, I mean, look what's not up there, though, Atlanta, right? So, I mean, there may be some opportunity outside that Atlanta market that, hey, Atlanta's got a lot of volume, but you may get some higher paying loads just outside of it.
You've brought up a pretty good point that's tough to talk about, but the markets are deteriorating, Tony. Atlanta is a key distribution market, and as these markets deteriorate, those are going to be some of the hardest hit. We looked at the 1 year changes, and what were a lot of the markets that we saw that were in red?
The big ones.
The big ones. Those were all getting smaller. And it's not that other markets, the smaller markets were getting bigger. Those were actually getting smaller year over year. And then we will see Atlanta here. We don't see it sticking up here. You'll start seeing these big key distribution markets getting smaller as if this continues and volumes continue to shrink.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, pop it here, the next map here. You thought I was going to skip it, but I'm not. NTID down again, down to 270, and we're seeing that what you mentioned a few weeks ago, more troughs than peaks. So we're having these peaks every week, but they're just getting smaller and smaller, and the down drops are getting bigger. So it's kind of reversing itself, and we're bringing that average down daily.
Yeah, I mean, if you looked at the 7-day average, if you had it up here, it'd be at 275. But if you look, the last 3 days have all been below that level. So, I mean, what's that tell you?
It's going to bring
it down.
Just a few cents. As we lose a day and pick up another one, it's going to bring that 7-day average down just a little bit. So times are getting tough. If you're a carrier right now, you want to really take care of your contracted customers, because that's where you're going to rely on those, and avoid the spot market as much as possible. Maybe just try to get your trucks back to your honey hole there of your contracted shippers, and then maybe try some of these, if you got them out and about, these major markets, kind of keep them moving.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for this update, Donny. We'll check in with you one more time before the end of the show. Right now, toss it back over to Kaylee and Anthony.